On September 12, 2025, scientists observed something that destroyed all their expectations about the universe's behavior. A gigantic object appeared from the far reaches of space, leaving a trail so large that its tail spanned the sky 5 times broader than the full moon. It was so luminous that amateur scientists using backyard telescopes easily witnessed it. Within hours, officials had verified that this was not an average comet. It was bigger, brighter, and infinitely weirder than ever before observed. Officially designated as C-2025-R2, it soon acquired a nickname, ***Swan****. But what utterly dumbfounded scientists was the timing, because yet another object, the infamous now 3I Atlas, was also on its way, hurtling toward the sun from the very opposite side of the sky. Both were to come within their nearest proximity to the sun within a 10-day period. At the time of their most perilous point, both would be obscured from view by the glare of the sun, and both displayed phenomena that contradicted the principles of physics. The chances of such a simultaneous cosmic entry by accident were so abysmally low that certain scientists discarded the concept of coincidence itself and started muttering another, far more disquieting word, ***mission****. If one interstellar visitor was out of the ordinary, the appearance of a second, 100 times its size, and apparently aimed at the same solar corridor, suggested that these may not be astronomical accidents but facets of an organized endeavor. As information flooded in, what was most striking about Swan wasn't its size, its conduct. Unlike comets that scatter light in predictable ways, Swan's reflective properties revealed metallic signatures, traces of nickel and cobalt, materials used by humans to create durable alloys resistant to corrosion. Some researchers started calling it the fortress because, while most comets crumble under the sun's heat, Swan appeared protected, armored even, maintaining a brightness far beyond what natural ice and dust could explain. Its tail, already record-breaking long, neither flowed erratically like vapor nor behaved chaotically but pulsed in rhythm, as if emitted by controlled microthrusts. It was as if a skyscraper-sized tank floated through space, covered with a glowing halo that may not be gas, but an electromagnetic shield that sheared off the solar wind. Still more disturbing than its form was its timing. As Swan towered like a castle, its diminutive sibling 3I Atlas acted like a drone, quick, unpredictable, and subject to sudden jerky acceleration and moods of odd color changes in its tail. The two combined did not look like desultory vagrants but constituents of an organized system, hurrying together toward the sun in harmonious synchronism, out of reach of Earth precisely during the days their real intention may become real. When astronomers plotted their arrival paths, something remarkable was revealed: Swan from Aquarius, Atlas from Sagittarius, 2/4 of the celestial sphere apart. And yet, though they originated from so far apart, they entered the inner solar system almost in synchrony, passing perihelion within 3 days of one another. Statistically, this was impossible. Comets typically come decades, even centuries apart. And then there was the blackout. Between October 8th and 18th, the sun's glare obscured telescopes, offering a window in which neither Swan nor Atlas was visible. Their best opportunity to approach the sun, and each other, was precisely when Earth's technology was helpless to spot them. To some scientists, this felt less a matter of chance and more one of planning, as though their courses had been designed to converge under solar cover. In space orbiting, astronomers refer to this type of alignment as a corridor, a thin window in spacetime where two things move in tandem defying randomness. This corridor led experts to grapple with a long-rejected idea: what if these things were not merely passing by, but coming together for a reason? While orbital measurements raised eyebrows, energy readings triggered alarm signals. Atlas surprised scientists with bursts of acceleration needing the power output of 10 nuclear stations, but Swan made even that appear trifling. Its inferred energy levels were tens of thousands of gigawatts, larger than the total power grid of the Earth. No natural body could unleash such power. Its metallic sheen, stable halo, and rhythmic pulsating hinted at not random outgassing, but aimed propulsion, such as a device employing plasma bursts for travel. The previously forbidden idea of engineered propulsion had started making the rounds in quiet conversations among astronomers no longer able to dismiss the evidence. Even more controversial were the rhythmic patterns of Swan's pulses, repetitive, orderly, almost language-like. Some posited that Swan was no fortress, but a beacon. Were Atlas a maneuvering drone, Swan could be the mothership, a massive ship engineered to withstand millennia, now returning not by accident, but by cycle. Its orbital period, estimated at about 22,000 years, meant it might have come by Earth long ago, even before recorded history, perhaps during the previous ice age, indeed, perhaps seeding the legends or carvings of light-clad visitors in the heavens. And now, as it came back, the implications became foreboding. NASA, ESA, and other space agencies abruptly curtailed public information at about the same time, halting high-resolution photography and radar monitoring right during the time the two anomalies were closest to each other. Officially, this was attributed to solar conjunction safety measures. However, leaked documents indicated direct instructions, eschew public statement, refuse raw data requests, and redirect proposals for alternative observation. The blackout, it appeared, was not wholly natural, it was enforced. Independent astronomers, not about to accept silence, mobilized in underground networks. Organizations such as Spain's Ibero Tracker Collective and Bill Gates Distributed Telescope Array plotted worldwide, sharing data and defying orders from the authorities. Their observations stoked speculation that governments were hiding something extraordinary, something they did not wish the world to observe. As for Atlas's movements, they were becoming increasingly bizarre. Its tail radiated and cycled colors, red, neutral, then again red, and sequences too regular to be random. 3 periods of acceleration, equally spaced out through weeks, synchronized with these color cycles. Natural outgassing would not have sufficed. The energy consumed by each maneuver equaled 10 nuclear power plants burning at maximum rate. Swan replicated this on a larger scale, its great tail throbbing with metered microbursts like careful course corrections. The coincidence between the two bodies became impossible to ignore. Although they were heading towards each other from opposite sides of the galaxy, their trajectories converged into the same slender solar lane, less than 50 million kilometers apart, shorter than the distance from Earth to Mars. Their perihelion positions were only 3 days apart, developing during the same observational blackout. Astronomers, who had grown used to chance, started facing the unthinkable. These objects seemed to be directed. The Sun itself appeared less a gravitational anchor than a way station for missions outside human understanding. Comparing energy outputs only added to the enigma. Atlas's quick bursts of thrust released a few 10 gigawatts, enough power to illuminate cities. Swan's constant glow suggested 10,000 gigawatts, a rampant, perpetual energy output for any natural entity. Hypotheses arose: was Swan collecting solar radiation? Was its metal body planned to harness the energy of the sun as propulsion? Others even speculated that its glowing tail was not gas but a product of plasma shielding. Most chillingly, maybe its energy source was not for travel, it was for signals. Swan might be sending, not to Earth, but to somewhere a far distance away. If that were the case, then humanity was not seeing a visitor but a messenger filing back home. As both objects approached perihelion, institutions globally went mute. NASA, ESA, and ISRO withheld updates on grounds of internal review, while independent observers were greeted with censorship and redacted papers. Rumors spread of astronomers being relocated, data feeds shut off, and whole teams disbanded. It was no longer prudent science, it was calculated suppression. In return, amateur monitors and independent networks pointed their cameras toward the sky, sending encrypted information and revealing pieces of truth governments would not divulge. The more they were silent, the more vocal became the public's doubts. When findings imperil power, the truth is not covered up, it is concealed. And then, soon, the focus went to the past. If Swan's orbit had actually taken more than 22 millennia, then it would have come back earlier, during the closing stages of the last ice age. Suddenly, ancient digs such as Göbekli Tepe made sense. Spirals, stars, and other celestial hieroglyphs on one of its ancient carvings now seemed to some to be the possibility of long-period comets streaking across ancient skies. What if our ancestors had once witnessed the same luminous fortress and chipped warning messages onto rock? If so, Swan's return was not novel but cyclical. And this time, we were finally able to comprehend it. Leaked sources later indicated that a classified probe had been shot towards Swan from a secret orbital platform. Born with particle scanners to penetrate its tail and examine its configuration, the probe was lost barely more than 1,000,000 kilometers from the target. As contact was lost, it sent one last image, a duplicate of itself, perfectly reflected, as if Swan had imaged and projected back. Experts dubbed it an energy wall, a lattice field of a Faraday cage intent on repelling intrusions. The implications were horrifying. Swan wasn't just massive, it was sentient. Spectroscopic scans from the James Webb Telescope added to the mystery. Where cometary compounds might be expected, Swan's spectrum showed complex organic molecules, highly structured polycyclic hydrocarbons that seemed engineered. The building blocks of life, in Swan, they were too pure, too ordered to be natural. Some theorists suggested that Swan could be a seed ship, built to carry and disseminate life from galaxy to galaxy. In that context, Atlas was a scout or drone, and Swan was the mothership, a carrier and guardian in an ancient, never-ending mission. Earth may not be an observer at all, but a player, perhaps even the destination, if it's true. As the blackout grew deeper, standalone trackers observed that both objects' paths converged towards the same solar corridor, as if choreographed for a meeting. Some theorized this was a refueling event, with the sun acting as an energy hub. Others believed Atlas was transmitting data to Swan, which would then relay it farther into space. But the most unsettling possibility was that the meeting wasn't between them, it was with us. Humanity's instruments had finally become advanced enough to witness what had always been hidden. Then Webb saw something nobody had anticipated. Swan was giving off radiation, not simply bouncing light. It was happening in a frequency band nearly unheard in the natural world, between soft X-rays and gamma radiation, organized in repeating patterns like coded bursts. A couple of ground-based telescopes were briefly blinded by it, as if jammed by an operating defense system. The first hints of hostility appeared. Shortly thereafter, satellite monitors picked up a flash of energy emanating from Swan, toward the Moon, not Earth. The transmission was tiered, programmed, nearly like executable code. NASA verified the signal's destination, a dense area of the Moon infamous for unexplained gravitational anomalies. What if Swan wasn't watching but triggering something hidden under the lunar surface? As Swan drew closer, strange effects began on Earth itself. Magnetometers across continents recorded pulses every 43 seconds, perfectly matching Swan's emission cycles. Seismographs detected vibrations unrelated to tectonic activity, while migratory animals across the globe shifted direction simultaneously, as if responding to a cosmic signal. It was as though the planet itself was resonating with Swan's presence. Scientists started going back to a long-standing enigma, 2017's interstellar guest, Oumuamua. What if it had been the lock, Swan and Atlas the key? In the midst of one of Swan's most powerful pulses, both Voyager spacecraft suddenly sent indecipherable data bursts, as if awakened. Or maybe this was not the start of a tale, but the sequel. The James Webb Telescope was supposed to gaze out, into the past, but what it showed instead was a reflection. Swan and Atlas were no random drifters of the cosmos. Their synchronicity, their strength, and their silence spoke of purpose, a mission we could not begin to understand. Humanity had finally laid eyes on something it was never supposed to see. And the most chilling realization of all was this: we were never the ones observing. We were the witnessed. Swan's pulsations through Earth's magnetic field, its encoded messages to the Moon, and the resonances that altered our planet's beats all led to one conclusion. They were not visitors. They were members of a system that always included us. The blackout was not a cover-up. It was confirmation. We looked to the stars for answers, but what we came back with instead was a reflection. Swan and Atlas are not cosmic coincidences, they are proof that the universe might at last be speaking. And maybe the true message was not what we heard, but what we sent, just for paying attention. Because sometimes, observation itself is the message. And now the universe might be responding in turn.